Doug and Adele Calhoun, co-authors of the book Spiritual Rhythms for the Enneagram, a handbook for harmony and transformation. And we're in a series of Facebook Live videos on the breath prayers for each of the numbers. And tonight we get to talk about the beloved fives, the place of wisdom and knowledge that anchors the base of the Enneagram and brings insight to all the numbers. And in our harmony triad version of the 8, 5, and 2, the 5 now is connected into the heart triad with the EQ of the beloved 2. And so we'll talk more about that as we get into the breath prayers. But first, from my resident, sometimes 5-ish wife.
That's right. I grew up in a family that was very focused on learning and IQ. And so for me, that became a place of protection and a place of safety. If I knew something, then I wouldn't look stupid. And I could compensate for personal inadequacies, at least if I was smart, or I thought I could. It just made me a little nerdy sometimes. But for me, the way my head can become more real than the world around me can be very problematic, because life doesn't get lived in our head. It gets lived in our experiences. It gets lived in our interactions. Mm-hmm. And there are times when Doug will talk to me and I'll be a million miles away. And it will be very hard to become present. Be very hard to listen, because
I have to send a telegram basically, say, hello, Earth calling Adele.
That's right. And I'll try to tune in. But part of the defense of the 5 is this sense of not having enough information to feel safe, not having enough data to make a good choice, not having enough energy. And so there's this often deprivation neurosis sense. I have to hoard and take care of all this stuff inside of me, because people come along and away it goes, and then I don't feel like I have anything to give. So the breath prayers are one way that beloved fives, can resource their feelings of not enough, their attempts to fill the hole inside of them that is bigger than the universe with just data and information. So do you want to talk about it?
The first one of the first ones we'd start with is always starting with our belovedness made in God's image. And so the breath prayer in is, I'm made in God's image. And because of that wonderful truth, then the breath out is, I can show up. I can be present. 5s often are just not present. They're somewhere else. But because they're beloved, because they're made in God's image, with that reminder, as they feel that impulse to pull away, they can say, I'm made in God's image. I can show up because I'm here with God. I have that capability because of God, because of God's goodness and graciousness to me. And so that's the starting point, is my belovedness enables me to show up in a way that maybe in my own self I could never do.
A breath prayer for a 5 too, just that sense of breathing in begins to open the places they constrict around, I don't have enough. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I have enough breath to breathe and open myself and to open this space inside of me. And so another prayer for a 5 can be, God, you are wise, and I am wise enough, or I have enough. So it gives us this sense of being able to be generous with what we have rather than hoard it and withdraw.
So each of these breath prayers are opportunities to catch ourselves when we get triggered. And for the 5s, this is when they get fearful and they get like, oh no, I can't possibly give away anything else. And at that moment, to pray some of these breath prayers is a way of unlocking that false self condition, as Adele said, opening that constriction. Another one is to take advantage of the triad, the harmonic triad that you're connected to with the 8, the energy and the decisiveness and the ability of the 8, and the love and connectedness of the 2, and then the wisdom of the 5. And by doing so, you realize that your wisdom is actually meant for others, not just for here. And so one of the ways to pray this is to add those 3 numbers together and to pray, my wisdom lovingly directs. My wisdom lovingly engages. To be praying that and say, God, my wisdom carefully and thoughtfully engages with others, so that you're realizing, even as you're struggling with that desire to pull away, that you remind yourself that health for you is going to be always in some way or another connecting with people at the 2 and bringing about the justice and impetus of an 8. And when you have that kind of wisdom, that's a force for real wonder in the world.
So we want you 5s to integrate heart and gut with your wisdom, because it not only will give you life, it will bring life to people around you.
Hope you continue to watch all these breath prayers. Claire and Scott will be back tomorrow to talk about the beloved 6s. And if you've enjoyed this, hope you'll like it. And if possible, share it with others. We'd love for more people to be engaged in the conversation. So hope you'll join us on our Facebook page or in our group. Blessings on your day or night.